Alright, full disclosure before we get this video, I am a Jets fan, I live in Vancouver, so all my friends follow the Canucks, and I used to follow the Canucks for the longest time, so I do know a lot about the Canucks. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I always like to put this information out there, so when I make a video on a team that I don't follow, I don't get accused of a bandwagon team, but let's be honest, what's there really bandwagon on for the Vancouver Canucks in the last couple seasons? So let's jump right into this video. So what I'm about to say is something I didn't think I'd say the entire season for this year's NHL season, is that the fact the Canucks have won 3 games in a row. How? I don't know. I guess God is shining down on them, and they're giving Lucas Spiza, the best playing he's ever played, which is surprising because, he's pretty shitty every other day of the week. But by some God-given miracle, they've won 3 games in a row. And what I'm going to be trying to talk about here is that whether or not this means the Canucks are in a position to make the playoffs, or whether or not they're just getting lucky, certain players are contributing a little bit more than they have this season, and that they should just it's not going to last, and that they're just going to go back to tanking, or whether or not they are going to tank, or if the Aquilinis are going to commit. There's just so much to talk about. Let's jump right into this. Now, the first thing I really want to touch on is that this winning streak has been really interesting because players have stepped up that I didn't think would step up. You have Lucas Spiza playing probably the best hockey he's played all season. You have Jason Magna playing top-line minutes. Yes, he hasn't picked up a goal. I don't think. I'd have to Google that later. But he's still playing well with the Sedins, and he's worked his way up there. He's bumped off Louis Eriksson, the guy they picked up for $6 million for 6 years to play with the Sedins. He bumped him off the line. So he must be doing something right to be able to bump off someone like Louis Eriksson to play the top line. And for some reason, it's actually worked. They've spread out the depth, and it's working. Desjardins did something right. And I'm surprised to say that because Desjardins done nothing right the entire season. Now, getting back into the fact, the Canucks, yes, they are winning. Is it important to realize that just because you won 3 games doesn't mean you're a good team? Are these Canucks are the same team that blew a 4-1 or 4-1 lead and lost 8-6 or whatever it was to the Carolina Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes. Yes, the Winnipeg Jets came back and beat Carolina. So Carolina has come back, has seen this type of thing before, and but really? How do you do that? How? How do you blow that lead to Carolina? And there's so many bad performances this year by the Vancouver Canucks, and it's just hard to think that, this team is the same team that did all of that, and it still is. It's the same players, it's the same coaching staff, same management, and the thing to really realize is that these Canucks aren't good. They're not good. You can bash me all you want, Canuck fans, of the thing, okay? I used to be a Canucks fan. I still follow the Canucks because of where I live and everything like that, but they're not good. The Canucks are just not a good team, and you have to realize that for the Canucks to be good, management, ownership, and the players need to commit to say we need to rebuild. We need to, we need to realize that this is going to happen, and the players and the management, they need to all commit to that. Now, I know it's painful to watch a rebuild. I ask any Toronto fan, ask any Arizona fan, ask any Jet fan, ask any Calgary, Edmonton, there's so many teams that have had to do this throughout over the years. And it's painful. But does it pay off? I think it does. Look at Edmonton. I hate Edmonton, but look at Edmonton. They're playing well. All it takes is a couple tank years and get some players playing the way you need to, young players making a big difference. Yes, they have Connor McDavid, but the point is they went out, they got young players, they signed some free agents, and they rebuilt a team that actually now has a chance in the near future. The Canucks need to do that, and they're not going to do that. Not as if they're going to keep winning games like this. Even though the 3-game win streak to the Aquilinis, the owners of the Canucks, that's like, oh, we're a playoff team. 3 games, we're playoffs. 3 games, that's 3-0 on we're up 3-0 in a playoff series. We could win this. All we need to do is 4. There we go. We're a playoff team. That's their ideal image for when they think of a winning streak, and that's not how the National Hockey League works. We've seen this in Columbus and Minnesota. If any team can play well and do well, but that doesn't mean you're going to play well in the playoffs. Look at Florida last year. Florida got knocked out first round. Yes, they did force a Game 7, but the point is that just because you do well in the regular season doesn't mean you're going to do well in the playoffs, and that's the exact same case for the Canucks here. If the Canucks really do think too much on this, think we can make the playoffs now, you're still 6th in the Pacific. You're still 11th in the Western Conference. You still have your Jake Virtanen down in Utica. Bo Horvat not producing as much as he should be. Louis Eriksson playing second line minutes. Like, Lucas Spiza on your top pairing. Yes, he's been playing well decently, but still, the point is that how long is that going to last for? You're not a good team, and you need to realize this. You need to realize that to the Aquilinis and to the management that just because you win 3 games in a row doesn't mean that you are a contender for a playoff position or hell even a contender to win the Stanley Cup. That's not how this league works. That's not how any sport league works. Are you telling me that the Philadelphia Phillies in the MLB, they're one of the worst teams? If they won 4 or 5 games in a row, that their management's automatically going to assume we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to make a wild card, we're going to win our division. No, that's not how it works. Bad teams win games. It's just what happens. Look at the Cleveland Browns. They've won a game. The point is that they're horrible. They're the worst team I've ever seen probably in the NFL in my life. But the point is that bad teams can win games, and the Canucks are still a bad team. And just because a bad team wins games doesn't mean you automatically can win. And that's what I'm afraid of for the management. They're going to, because the management, oh boy, I'm not going to jump in on a rant on how bad the Canucks management is. But the point is that the Aquilinis, the owners, are going to think we're winning games, we're going to make the playoffs. They're going to, hell, if this year's deadline will be the deciding factor for the Canucks for years to come. Whether they sell or whether they're buyers. That's going to be the biggest, probably, free agent question, free agents, trade deadline, everything. The Canucks selling or buying. That's going to be it. If you're a Canucks fan, watch out for that because that's going to be the defining moment of your team's franchise history on what they're going to be doing. Because right now the Canucks are in a sinking ship and they're sinking fast. And whether or not if they don't rebuild this year, they're going to be they're going to be at the bottom of the ocean before you can say Canucks win a game 3 in a row. Okay, that didn't really make any sense there. But the point is that the Canucks are not a good team. And just because you win 3 games in a row doesn't mean that you're a good team. Okay, even though Daniel just scored a wicked goal there, that still doesn't mean you're a good team. Maybe that's something to come. Maybe I'm just seeing signs in this game or whatever. Never mind. The point is, don't commit to this team. If you're a fan, be happy. You got to see a winning streak, you be happy. Put it behind yourself and think, okay, what's really important? A winning streak or the future of this franchise? I want you guys to think on that and comment on what you guys think the Canucks really should be thinking of with this winning streak. Whether or not, hey, as a fan, it's awesome, but as a real devoted fan, is a winning streak that is going to affect the way management views the team, is it worth it? Or is it worth it that the Canucks just lose and maybe that gets management thinking that we really need to rebuild and tank? I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm the Canadian Zombie, guys, and as always, take care, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.